Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be explaining how teachers in tertiary institutions of learning, that is universities, polytechnics, colleges of agriculture, and colleges of education, among others, can or will efficiently compute examination in continuous assessment scores for large class size using Vlookup function in Microsoft Excel. Student enrollment figures across the globe is on the increase due to factors which are not limited to increase in population figures of admissible candidates, quality staffs and facilities, reputation of the institution, and parental satisfaction, amongst others. Increase in student enrollment figures leads to large class size in the various levels of study in tertiary institutions. Large class size indicates more work for the teacher as they have to contend with marking, examination, assessments for the many students enrolled in such institutions beyond the recommended teacher-student ratio set by the regulatory bodies of the institutions. The question is, how do teachers in tertiary institutions compute examination and continuous assessment scores? Do teachers in tertiary institutions of learning record examination and continuous assessment scores manually and compute thereafter using calculators? What is Vlookup? How can teachers apply Vlookup to compute examination and continuous assessment scores for large class size? The answer to this question and more will come your way after this time out.
Thank you. I now put on my laptop computer to explain how teachers in tertiary institutions of learning can efficiently compute examination and continuous assessment scores for large class size using Vlookup function in Microsoft Excel. So I will be using the PowerPoint slide and Microsoft Excel to simultaneously explain how Vlookup can be applied. Before I look at the application, let me first explain some terms that will better help us appreciate how Vlookup can be applied. To start with, what is Vlookup? Vlookup stands for vertical lookup. That is, it is a function that makes Excel search for a certain value in a column called table array in order to return a value from a different column in the same row. By explanation, if you're working on Excel workbook, of course Excel workbook has many sheets. If you are in sheet 1, you have students examination scores and assessment scores from a certain teacher, and you want to import assessment score from a second teacher in the second sheet. Vlookup will help you achieve this. It will import assessments from sheet 2 into sheet 1 for further processing. This will be better appreciated when it is demonstrated in Excel spreadsheet. So, what are the components of Vlookup function? Vlookup function has 4 main components. 1. The value you want to look up. 2. The range in which you want to find the value and return the value. 3. The number of the column within your defined range that contains the return value. 4. 0 or false for an exact match with the value you are looking for, and 1 or true for an approximate match. That is, by entering 0 or false, you have instructed Vlookup to import the exact value that is required. Syntax for Vlookup. The syntax for Vlookup is value, range, column number, false or true. Now let's look at examination score. What is examination score? Examination score is the performance, mark or grade a student earned in an examination. In some tertiary institutions, course examination is scored 100% and converted to 70%. Continuous assessment score. Continuous assessment is scored 30% for course examinations that are scored 70%. Total examination score. The total examination score is the summation of examination score and continuous assessment score. Therefore, Total examination score for any course can be expressed as TES, which is the total examination score, equals to the sum of ES, which is examination score, plus CAS, which is continuous assessment score. Class size. Class size is the number of students per class or level of study in any institutions. Let's look at class size categories of courses in tertiary institutions. For small class size, we have students between 1 to 13 in a class. 31 to 60 we consider as large class size. 61 to 100 is considered as large class size. We also have large class size of 101 to 150, and of course also have large class size of 151 to 200 students per class. In some situations, we have very large class size of student population of 201 to 500. These large class size are found in colleges, faculties, and departments of natural or basic sciences and education and general studies, housing university-wide courses. 100 level students of other departments take biology, chemistry, mathematics, physics, education courses, among other courses in this department. So one begins to wonder how teachers in this department, faculties or colleges are able to compute examination and continuous assessment score for this large number of students within a very short time. Benefit of using Vlookup. The benefit of using Vlookup includes 1. Accuracy. Vlookup search and returns the exact value of data match, thereby guarantees 100% accuracy. 2. It saves time. Vlookup saves time as it looks up data automatically instead of an individual or a teacher having to do it manually. How much time a Vlookup can save depends on 1. The expertise of the person using Vlookup, and 2. the amount of time it takes a person to look up the data manually. Work efficiency. Efficiency is the state or quality of being efficient or able to accomplish a task with the least waste of time. Therefore, a teacher becomes very efficient when he or she uses Vlookup in Excel to compute examination and continuous assessment scores, as time wasting is significantly reduced. Between 2 to 3 weeks is normally given for return of examination results. So Vlookup will definitely help teachers to accomplish such tasks on record time. Scenarios to consider. I will be considering 2 scenarios to explain how Vlookup can be applied. The first scenario is a course taught by only one teacher for small class size. Here, continuous assessment scores is recorded against examination score for a small class size by one teacher. The second scenario is a course taught by 3 teachers for a large class size. In this situation, one teacher coordinates entering or capturing of 3 continuous assessment scores against examination score for large class size. Now let me switch over to Excel spreadsheet to explain these situations. In this Excel spreadsheet, the total class size is 30. Column B shows the registration numbers of the student. Column C is where the student names are to be written, but are not displayed because they are not important for this demonstration. Column D shows the examination score for each student. Of course, the maximum scoreable for the exam is 70%. Column E shows the continuous assessment score for the student, and the maximum scoreable is 30%. Column F is where the total examination score for each student will be calculated or computed. Now, for a small class size, Vlookup may not be applied because it's a small class size. The teacher can manually transfer the assessment score from his record sheet into Excel spreadsheet as follows. Having entered the continuous assessment score for each candidate, the total examination score for each student can be computed as follows. First, you put your cursor against the first student, and then enter the equals to sign. Now you click on the first student examination score in column D, enter the plus sign, and click on the first student continuous assessment score, followed by a tap on the enter button of your computer. The first student examination score is displayed. Now you could get the other student examination scores in two ways. First, put your cursor at the bottom right hand corner. Let it change to a plus sign. You left click and drag to get other student examination score. Secondly, I will undo. At this time, you put the cursor at the bottom right hand corner and double click, and other student total examination scores are displayed. Now, for the second scenario, where you have 3 teachers that taught a particular course for a large class size. Now, how would they compute the assessment scores? Because each of the teachers taught the course and administered assessment. Now, in sheet 2 of this workbook, we have a class size of 150 students. Of course, this is a large class size. And of course, you have the student registration number in column B, and column D has the student examination scores. Column E has a continuous assessment score of 30. Now, the first teacher's continuous assessment score is contained in assessment score 1 sheet, and the second teacher assessment score is entered in continuous assessment score 2 sheet, and the third teacher has his continuous assessment score in continuous assessment score 3 sheet. Now, we intend to import the continuous assessment score of the second teacher and the third teacher into the continuous assessment score sheet 1. For the first teacher, 16 students did not take the assessment test. To import the continuous assessment score of the second teacher into sheet 1, first you place your cursor in column E against the first student registration number, or against the first student. Now you click on FX and the formula bar. The insert function menu is displayed. To activate Vlookup, you click on the search for a function, select the content and type Vlookup. You then click on Go, or you tap the enter button of your computer. Vlookup is displayed or highlighted. Now you click on OK. The function argument menu is displayed, and we have the following items: lookup underscore value, table underscore array, column underscore index underscore number, and lastly range underscore lookup. Now with your cursor inside the lookup underscore value box or space, using the registration number as the primary key. In every institution, students do have registration number, so we need to use the registration number as the primary key because each student has a unique registration number. Also, in organization or workplace, each staff has staff identity number, and so if we're to work with organization, we'll be using staff number as the primary key. Now click on the first student registration number. The ID is displayed under lookup underscore value as B2 because it's in the cell B2. Press the tab key of your computer. Your cursor moves to table underscore array. Now you open the sheet of interest, the sheet in which you want to import the test score. In this case is CA score 2 sheet. I open it. Now you place your cursor on column B and let it turn vertically because you say Vlookup is vertical lookup. So your cursor has to turn vertically, and in that position you now press the left shift key and hold. Using the forward arrow key, you move to the column of interest. That's the column that has the assessment score which you want to import. The column that has the assessment score which you want to export. In this case, consider B as 1. Move the forward key to column C and count 2. and move to the column of interest, column D. Column D is now 3. Column D is a column of interest. So the range now is B to D. Now press the tab key and you of course move to column underscore index underscore number space and enter the number 3 because column D is 3 in this case. Also press the tab key and the cursor will move to range underscore lookup space. Now enter the command false or 0. By entering false, you have instructed Vlookup to export the assessment scores of each student in assessment score 2 into assessment score 1 sheet. If you have made a mistake, the variables will be in red, but since red color is not displayed in any of the variables here, you click on OK. Assessment score of the first candidate is imported and aligned against the first candidate. You could verify by opening assessment score 2 sheet, and of course 5 is the score. 5 is the assessment score for the first candidate, which is imported into assessment score 1 sheet. To get the assessment score of the other candidate, you put your cursor and let it change at the bottom right hand corner to the plus sign and double click, and all the assessment score of the other candidate are brought forward. You will observe that only 140 students took the second assessment test, and so 10 students failed to take the test. And of course, Vlookup was able to identify such students, and the scores are displayed as number not available. Similarly, to import the assessment score of the third teacher into assessment score 1 sheet, first you place the cursor against the first student, the cursor being in column F against the first student. Now you click on the function key fx. Ensure that Vlookup is selected. Now click on OK. The function argument memory is displayed. Being inside Vlookup underscore value space, click on the first student registration number. The ID is displayed, B2. Now press the tab key. The cursor moves to table underscore array space. Now open the continuous assessment score 3 sheet of the third teacher. Now you take your cursor to column B, where you have the student registration number, and ensure that the cursor is in vertical position, because Vlookup has to do with vertical lookup. Yes, the cursor is now in vertical position. Now press the shift key, left shift key, and hold. Using the forward arrow key, move your cursor to column D and count as you progress. Column B is 1, column C is 2, column D is 3. Now press the tab key once again and enter the value 3 inside the column underscore index underscore number space. Now press the tab key again and your cursor moves into range underscore lookup space and type the word false. Next, click on OK. The first student assessment score is imported. Assessment score 3 sheet. Of course, we are correct. The exact value is imported. Back to continuous assessment score 1 sheet. To get the other student assessment score, you click on the first student assessment score. At the bottom right hand corner, ensure that the cursor is turned into a plus sign, and then you double click. All the other student assessment scores are now brought forward. Again, how many students took the test? You discover that 143 students took the assessment test. So 7 students failed to take the test. Who are these students? Vlookup was able to identify the student and indicated as number not available. Now, at the formula bar, you see that the assessment scores are linked to their sources. So to disconnect the scores from the sources, you select or you copy the assessment scores for all the students and take to a new sheet and paste the scores as paste values. Click on paste values. Next, you copy and find all number not available and replace the values with the value 0 because they fail to take the assessment test, and of course 0 is returned for them. Now you replace all. 17 replacement is made. Of course, in the second test, 10 failed to take the test, and the third test, 7 persons failed to take the test. So we have 17 students having the 0 score. Now you copy the scores and bring back to assessment score 1 sheet and paste values. Of course, the scores are now disconnected from their sources. Next, we now sum up the assessment scores for all the students by entering the formula equals to sign. Now you click on the first student assessment score in column D, enter the plus sign, click on the second test score of the first student, enter the plus sign again, and click the third assessment score of the first student, and then tap the enter button of your computer. The total assessment score for the first student is displayed. With your cursor at the bottom right hand corner of the cell, double click to have the total assessment score for other students. Of course, you can use Vlookup to import the assessment scores, or you could just copy all the scores into the second sheet and paste the scores using paste value. Now you have the two variables: examination score, maximum score equals 70%, and assessment score, maximum score equals 30%. Next is to compute the total examination score for all the candidates or all the students. To do this, you enter the formula starting with the equals to sign. Now you click on the first student examination score, enter the plus sign, and click on the first student continuous assessment score. Next, you tap the enter button of your computer, and of course the total examination score for the first student is displayed. Now you double click to have the total examination score for the other student. Very simple and straightforward. You could see that Vlookup is able to compute examination score and assessment score within a short time as compared to the manual way of computing using calculator. In summary, from the foregoing, I did explain that Vlookup is a function that makes Excel search for a certain value in a column called double array in order to return a value from a different column in the same row. I also explained that the syntax for Vlookup is value, range, column number, false or true. And the benefit of Vlookup includes: 1. Accuracy, saves time, and is very efficient. It enhances the capacity of the teacher and also ensures that work is accomplished within a very short time. Now, if you are watching this video for the very first time, we request that you subscribe to this channel to watch my other videos. You can subscribe by clicking the subscribe button and click on the notification bell and select all to watch my other videos. Thanks for watching. See you on my next video.